Welcome back to Life in 10. This is episode 155. We are continuing our conversation in chapter 7 of The Man in the Arena. I'm going to start with the number 9. Any idea what that stands for? That's how many seasons it took Peyton Manning to win his first Super Bowl. 9 seasons. So Peyton Manning, easily considered, especially around here, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and yet it took him 9 seasons. So that means for 8 seasons, technically, he failed. I mean, because the goal of every player, regardless of what they say, in any sports league is not to have best numbers, records, be on the all-star team, all that stuff. Those are all great accomplishments, and I think people appreciate that. But, I mean, their ultimate goal is to win a championship. They want to lift that trophy over their head and announce that for that season, they were the best in the league. But I'll tell you this, there's never been a player that has won a championship every season they've ever played. Now, might be an exception if somebody played one season and they just happened to be on the championship team, but I think that's kind of a unlikely scenario. And I don't really consider them to be, a full-time championship. They're just going to play one season. So that means every player has come up short at some point. So the greats, Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, Conor McGregor, Tiger Woods, Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady, and even the great Mike Tyson, all of them have come up short at some point in their careers. So what makes us think that we would be any different? You're not always going to get it right. I know we want to, and it's not fun to fail. It can break our spirit, break our drive if we truly let it, or it can motivate us to get back in there and try again. I mean, we've talked about this before, but when you're in the arena, you're not going to win every fight. You may come up with the best game plan the world has ever seen, but all it takes sometimes is a curveball you weren't expecting to completely throw you off track. Off track so much that you end up suffering a loss. Now, Robert F. Kennedy said this, only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. You have to be willing to take the risk. We live in a world of uncertainty, so there is never any guarantee that the decisions you're making are going to work out in your favor. I wish it was different. I mean, I think we all do. I think we wish we had a crystal ball to see what the best choices are so we can achieve maximum success. But we know it doesn't work that way. The reality is we have to go out and try it. Sure, do your homework. Try and line up everything you can to give yourself the best possible opportunity to succeed. But after all of that, there's a chance of error. So you say then, all right, well, what's the point then? Why go out and try when there's no guarantee? Why not just kind of live it safe and play on the sidelines? And we've talked about it before, but you certainly don't want to get to the end of your life and start playing the game of, I wish I would have. I mean, because I can't imagine that's a very fun game to be in. Accept that your decisions might lead to failure, but also accept that it might lead to success. And if you have the right mindset, you win in both scenarios. If you succeed, then great. If you fail, then you get the chance to learn from it and to get better. Because it's been said over and over again that true success is learned through our failures. Now let me finish with this. There's an incredibly well-written book. It's more like a pamphlet. I mean, it's real skinny. Written by Joshua Medcalf that has an astounding amount of life lessons in it. I encourage you to buy it. It's probably on Amazon. Pick it up. But there's a part in the book that I actually referenced in my book that I want to share with you. It's on page 81 of my book. It says this. Oops, hold on. It was 1937 when Theodore Geisel's first book hit the market after being rejected 26 times by different publishers. He went on to write a few books you might have read, such as Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, and Oh, the Places We Will Go. Einstein's teachers labeled him mentally slow. He didn't speak until he was almost 5 and expelled from school. Ben Carson was told he was stupid by teachers and made to sit in the back corner of classrooms. He eventually became the first neurosurgeon to separate Siamese twins attached to the skull. Oprah was fired and told she was unfit for television. Over 1,000 restaurants rejected David Sanders' famous chicken recipes, but you have probably eaten at a KFC. A young engineer named Soichiro wanted a certain engineering job at Toyota, and he was very upset he didn't get it. So he left, and he started a brand new brand using his last name, Honda. Henry had multiple businesses fail under his leadership, but eventually he created a little company called Ford. Walt was fired from a local Kansas City newspaper for lacking creativity and having no original ideas. Mr. Disney's original ideas still draw billions of dollars yearly to his amusement parks and movies. At 30 years old, Steve was fired from the company he created until Apple begged him to come back and save the company 10 years later. Tom was told he was too stupid to learn anything, but Mr. Edison invented the first light bulb and at least 1,093 other things. Their group was told they have no future in show business, but I bet the person who told the Beatles that might have eventually found himself no future in show business. Stephen was rejected from the University of Southern California 3 times and eventually dropped out of another college. He created a few movies you might have seen, like Jaws, Jurassic Park, and Indiana Jones. Roland Husey had 7 straight businesses fail before he started Macy's. Record labels continuously rejected a younger singer named Paul's sample take as unsuitable for us. Still, those same companies perked up their ears when Bono and his band U2 eventually became some of the most successful rock stars of all time. Akayo's company was so broke they started making rice cookers that didn't work very well at all. But after many years of barely keeping the lights on, Sony found their niche. Winston failed the 6th grade and was beaten in every election he partook in until he became the prime minister. His last name, Churchill, is now synonymous with the stalwart leadership that helped the Allies defeat Hitler in World War II. Abraham failed at seemingly everything he put his hand to, including multiple businesses and runs for office. Still, President Lincoln eventually got some things right, like saving the Union and the Emancipation Proclamation. Jerry froze his first time on the big stage and was consequently booed off it. His television show about nothing was laughed at and ridiculed until Seinfeld became one of the history's longest-running and most popular shows. Interesting that U2 and Seinfeld are both mentioned in this book, because I love them both. Vincent only sold 1 painting during his lifetime and was a starving artist, but today Van Gogh's paintings are worth billions of dollars. Mr. Presley was fired from the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville and told to return to driving a truck. Elvis could buy many trucks in his lifetime while selling a couple of records along the way. His show company was on the brink of bankruptcy for over a decade before it really took off, and Nike is still doing pretty well to this day. Last one. Ludwig was completely deaf, which made playing the violin and composing pretty difficult. A few people, though, still play Beethoven's music today. Amazing stories of incredible people who had challenges, difficulties, failures, and yet we all know of the impact that they've had in our world. Keep going after it, because the world needs to know what you have to offer. Never forget that you are loved and you are highly valued. Have a great week.